Live on WCLU Radio, it's The Top Story at 7 with WCLU News Director Angela Briggs.
Angela Briggs here with WCLU, and this is your live Top Story at 7. I'm sitting here with District Judge Gabe Pendleton. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Now, you've been on the bench for a little over a year now.
About 15 months, I think.
So let's take this thing back to right after the last election. And I mean like 2:30 a.m. right after the last election.
Yep, at about 2:30 in the morning, you called me. I had been notified earlier that, earlier in the night, I thought I'd lost the election. I was at home and then started getting calls like maybe there was something wrong, but I didn't know exactly what the deal was. Some people were saying, hey, you've actually won. And I wasn't really believing that because I just thought maybe somebody had missed some votes somewhere.
Right.
And then you called at about 2:30 and I was laying there with my wife and we weren't asleep yet because so much had been going on. And you said, congratulations, you've won. And I was like, what's going on? What happened? You explained to me that they had transposed our numbers from one precinct. And when you told me what precinct it was,
Right.
that was the first time I allowed myself to believe that I had won because that was a precinct I'd won in the primary by a pretty wide margin. And then this one, I would have lost it by a really big margin.
Right.
But instead, I had actually won that one, and that changed the whole outcome of the election. So you made my night, certainly. So I appreciate you calling and letting me know because until I knew exactly what the mistake was, I wasn't going to allow myself to think I'd won. But now I have, and I'm loving doing the job. Yeah.
Now you a lot of times during campaign, everything's busy. You're eating bean soup everywhere, and vegetable soup, and pancakes, and everything. And then, there are events constantly. And then all of a sudden, you get elected, and it's like, okay, now I'm taking the bench.
Right.
You made some changes as soon as you took the bench. One of those was a dress code. Now, do you miss pajama pants in district court?
I do not miss them. I don't miss them, and I'm glad that people don't wear them. As a matter of fact, I don't think anybody has worn pajama pants to district court since I have instituted this dress code. I've had people that have worn shorts and tank tops, but they didn't know that that's what the dress code was, and so we either let them go home and change or give them a date for the next week to come back. But the dress codes work great so far. I haven't really had any problems with it. I feel bad when people come and they have to leave or come back another day because it wastes a day, but I also, I made the rule and I need to enforce it, and it's just, that kind of is what it is. They need to show some respect for what's going on in the process in district court, and it's been good overall.
Absolutely. And you don't miss pajama pants again, that's
I don't miss them, no.
You've also made some other changes. You've changed the court schedule.
I have changed the court schedule. We've done a few things different on just when we schedule some things, but then on Thursdays and Fridays, Thursdays used to be our trial days, and Fridays were an arraignment day where you're there all day. On Fridays, we've switched those 2 days, so we're there all day on Thursdays. Fridays are trial days, so if we don't have trials, then we have days where we don't have court that's scheduled unless we need to schedule something special. And that gives lawyers a chance to leave town, do whatever they need to do on Fridays or schedule other things where if they need to be gone earlier, they can be. And it also allows our ladies in the clerk's office to get everything ready for Monday.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that. So that part I think everybody's really liked that. It was kind of something I think Judge Alexander had thought about doing before, but never was able to implement it. But then once I came in new, I was like, well, we're going to try this. So we've been doing that since, it's only been a month. This month was the first month for it, but I think everybody really likes it so far. I've gotten a lot of good feedback about it, and hopefully, that'll be something people like for the rest of my tenure.
I would think so. And something I think that people may not understand about district court is that your all's docket is not a small docket. I mean, I've seen lines in district court before. So as far as case volume, was that shocking to you? Were you expecting that many cases?
Well, I mean, of course, I've been in district court for 12 years or 11 years as a prosecutor before then, so I knew, what was going to go on in there every day. But, when I go to these new judge colleges or go to, judge school for continuing education, I hear a lot of these other judges talk about their dockets, and their jobs would be better than my job as far as they're there 2 or 3 days a week, and that's about it. And they have half days when they do those, and they just have a lot smaller counties. When I go to Metcalfe counties like today on Wednesday, we're done by lunch pretty much every day. But here in Barron County, we've got 4 other days where we're not done by lunch most days, and it's usually, Monday it was 5 o'clock. You go from 8 to 5, and I didn't get lunch, and it's just it's busy. People don't think that Glasgow, a town of this size, would have that big court docket, but we have a lot going on, and it's one of the 5 busiest I have one of the 5 busiest district judge offices or jobs in the state.
I would guarantee it.
It's a lot of work, but I like it. It's not work that you can't get done, but when you're up there, there's no time to just waste. You've got to be going.
Well, you were talking about being a prosecutor, and now you had the view from that side, and now what does the view from the middle look like? Because basically you got to bring everybody together.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely different. I don't have a side now. Before I was always advocating for the state or for the Commonwealth, and now I'm listening to what both sides are saying, or listening to, even in civil cases. I wasn't involved in those in a prosecutor, but those are always the toughest for me as a judge, because there's 2 people here telling you 2 different stories, and they can't both be correct. And so, they come in there wanting me to settle their differences, and, they both come in there mad at each other, and they usually leave mad at me because I don't, if you don't find what one of them wants totally, then it's all your fault. It's all my fault, but that's part of it. That's part of being the judge. But it's been good to come into this, to kind of be in the middle, and I hope that I've done a good job. I think the people, the lawyers and people that have come in there think that I'm fair. I thought I was fair as a prosecutor, but I had a different job. But now this job, I do my best every day to make sure that I'm being fair to people, and that I listen to everything that they want to tell me, and then make my decision based on that.
You're talking about local attorneys. You've also updated some local rules.
Yes,
You're in the process of doing that.
I have completed them for all intents and purposes. I think I just have a couple of things to tweak. But local rules are something that every court is supposed to have, so that people lawyers from out of town, lawyers from in town, know what our schedule is, know what's expected of them in there, what they can do in my courtroom, what they can't, where they sit, where they, what times it starts, what you wear. All of those are rules that are supposed to be out there, and ours haven't really been updated in at least over 20 years, since before Judge Rock took the bench.
It has been a while.
So that's been a little process doing. Judge Alexander kind of started to revise those, but he never got those finished when he was district judge. So I figured since I was starting off new, I would try and get that done, and I should have those ready to go out to the bar and then to the Chief Justice to be approved. They have to all be approved before they can be implemented, but hopefully that'll help too. So that, just trying to do things to make sure that district court's running the way it should, and that we're complying with everything that they want us to do from the state.
Now I've got some questions I have to ask.
All right.
Anybody that knows me knows that Glasgow drivers drive me batty.
All right.
Traffic tickets. You see these people that come in district court.
Every traffic ticket comes to my court. Yes, ma'am.
Am I correct?
Unless they pay it before they get there.
Right. Does Glasgow have an issue with people breaking traffic laws?
Glasgow does.
Told you, folks. I knew I was right about it.
But I would say every city has that. I'd say everybody breaks traffic laws.
What if I come in court and I tell you, Judge, I was in a hurry, that's why I was speeding? Will that get me out of a ticket?
Will it get you out of it?
Yes.
Probably not.
What if I tell you that I had to get home really fast, I was running late? Aliens, I thought they were going to abduct me.
Aliens might work. I don't know. You'd probably have to provide me some proof.
If I had a cell phone video.
I'd certainly look at it.
But you're not going to make any promises,
no,
right?
I'd be fair to you. I'd look at it and see what I thought about that. But, if somebody was going to the hospital and they were having a baby and they pulled you over, most of the time they're not going to give you a ticket for that. Anyway, but I mean, there can be circumstances where there might be a miscommunication between them and the officer didn't really understand why they were doing what they did and gave them a ticket, and then they come in and they had some compelling reason. You know, sometimes we might help you. I mean, no, we're not usually just going to throw it out, but we might say, hey, if you don't get any tickets for 6 months, then this one could get dismissed as long as you don't have any. We just want to make sure people are following the traffic rules. I feel like that's what my job is. You know, it's not necessarily to make people pay a lot of money because they made a mistake. You know, sometimes that's what happens, but there are also times where, you know, they made an honest mistake and they should, you know, I feel like you can have a little mercy on them in certain circumstances.
So what you're saying is people need to get themselves together and follow the traffic laws, and there is no magic phrase I can say that's going to get me out of a ticket.
There is no magic phrase that'll get you out of a ticket. As far as I know, I haven't heard one yet.
You do let me know about that.
I will do that.
People that come in court that are jerks, and you know they're jerks, but you have to side with them because that's the law. Does that drive you crazy?
It doesn't drive me crazy, I don't think. I mean, some people are just jerks. I mean, you understand that. I have to deal with them all the time. I mean, I just try to be as nice to them as I can. You know, usually that makes people feel a little worse about being a jerk when you're nice to them, even when they're a jerk to you. So, you know, I just try and be nice to them, be fair to them, and if their side is, you know, the law is on their side in their dispute, then they're going to win, whether they're a jerk or not. I mean, that's just what my job is, and it doesn't really matter if you're a jerk. Now, if you're acting crazy in court and doing things you shouldn't do, I mean, you know, if you're being a jerk that way, then, you know, then that's something different that I can do something about. But as far as if you're just, you know,
just a jerk in general.
Yeah, you just want to kick somebody out of their house just because, and they don't have anywhere to go,
Right.
You know, then you
We're
might
going to have to go by the law here.
Yeah, that person might think you're being a jerk for kicking them out of their house, but the law's on their side because they can. They're your landlord. Well,
You're bound by the law.
yeah, you got to go. Sorry.
15 months on the bench. You seem pretty comfortable with it. Seem like it's, you know, everything's going smoothly. You going to run for re-election?
Of course, I'm going to run for re-election. I love doing this job. Almost every day I love it. There are some days where I wonder why I wanted to do this job, but the majority, I mean, almost every day, really, I mean, this is a job where you can do a lot of good for our community. And I knew that before I took the job, but after having it and doing it for 15 months, I mean, there's a lot of people's lives that you can affect. I mean, we've had one guy that was there he's probably been arrested 100 times, not kidding, for alcohol-related offenses, and he's just got a bad alcohol problem.
Right.
And so we finally got him into rehab. He completed his rehab, and now he's in a halfway house. And this may change his whole life.
Everything.
Yeah, just for that. I mean, we have countless people that I've sent to rehab that have changed their lives, or people that you let do certain things. Or, well, we have a job program now, basically through the court that we help you do. Miss Julia Atkins at U-Turn program helps us with that. So I have people in there that either can't pay their fines or we give them a alternative sentence. Instead of doing this community service, we've got a job for you. Go out and work at this job in the community.
Right.
If you do that, then, you know, your fines will be, you know, we'll relieve your fines, or you don't have to serve your jail time.
Right.
And that not only helps our community, but it helps those people too. You know, it gives them something. They might find a career that they can, you know, do and support their family. And a lot of these times when people are committing some of these petty crimes, it's because they don't have a job,
Right.
And they don't have anything to do with their time. And, you know, idle hands.
Idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Yeah, devil's workshop. So, you know, when you don't have anything to do and you're hanging out with people that are getting in trouble, you know, then you tend to get in trouble. And that's a lot of what we see in district court is just people that are with the wrong people and don't have the means or the willpower to get out. But when you give them a chance to do a job or something else, you know, they can change their lifestyle and they can change their friends and they can change their life. And I've been able to do a lot of that. And so that's really what has been great about this first 15 months. And I really, I mean, it's rewarding to know that you've done something to kind of help somebody in their life. So I really like that part.
There you go, folks. Barron and Metcalf District Court, you can leave out of there with opportunity.
That's right.
I mean, where else can you get that? Nowhere, I'm not thinking.
That's right. I'm a nice guy. I'll treat you fair when you come in there. I have to do my job, but you know, if you come in there, it's
Now, how many fashion police do you have in district court to make sure that's dress code?
well, I mean, most of the time I don't notice because
Right.
I'm doing writing when the people come up there, and I'm not very tall anyway, so I'm not going to see over the bench. You know, I got this bench and they're standing right there next to it, so I don't know if they've got on shorts or something else. Usually my bailiff has to say, hey, they have on shorts, but I make an announcement before we start every day and say, look, if you've got this on, you need to come tell them and see if you've got time to go home and change, or if we're going to have to give you another day. So most of the time that weeds it out, but sometimes a few of them sneak up there and they're like, hey, they got on shorts.
Well, if you need a fashion police officer, I will definitely come up there and donate my time.
Well, I don't know if I've got any money for that.
If I could just write people tickets for that, I would like that.
We'll talk to Chief Howie at the police department.
If that could
see if we
expand into parking tickets too, people drive me crazy. But we'll talk about that another time. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe they can make you a special deputy or special officer, and you can just come up there and just write fashion police tickets.
See, folks, right here, Judge Pendleton. I'm loving this idea. Great thing is coming out of district court. Judge, thank you so much for coming by and taking a look back at the year again. You don't miss pajama pants. You're giving opportunities in court, and things are going just smooth as silk.
They're going pretty good. I'm really enjoying it, and I appreciate the people of Marion and Metcalf counties elected me to do this job, and I hope that they think that I'm doing a good job at it, and I'm certainly trying to do the best that I can, and I'd like to do it for many years.
Many years, folks. You heard it right here. Angela Briggs, I'm with WCLU, and sit down with Judge Pendleton, and this has been your live top story at 7.